Hey guys, and welcome to my BookTube-A-Thon Wrap Up video. I told you guys yesterday I was going to come back and kind of tell you what I thought of the experience and go ahead and go through and bulk review all 6 books that I read for the BookTube-A-Thon. So here it goes. First off, I loved the BookTube-A-Thon. It was pretty intense. I could not keep up with a pace like that for longer than the BookTube-A-Thon lasted because I was just exhausted. But for 1 week, it was just perfect, and it pushed me to read more than I've ever read in that amount of time before. I read 6 books and listened to 1 audiobook for a grand total of 7 books, plus I continued reading Catching Fire last night after I updated everything. So that's over 6 books in a week, or over 7 books in 1 week, and that's just a book a day is just intense crazy for me. Like, it's a book a week usually. So I loved BookTube-A-Thon. It pushed me, and it is the whole reason that I have now joined the BookTube community, which I'm really excited about. So yeah, I loved BookTube-A-Thon, and I cannot wait for next year and any other events that people might put together in between now and the next BookTube-A-Thon. So it was amazing, and now I shall go through and review everything for you. The first book I read was House by Frank Peretti and Ted Dekker. This was to complete my Reread a Book challenge. I loved it the second time around. I would give it probably 4 out of 5 stars. I think when I first read it I would have given it 5, and even though I loved it just as much the second time, I'm going to go with 4 or 4.5 out of 5 stars. It's amazing. It's intense. It wasn't hard to read in one day. It is 372 pages, and I ate it up in one sitting with no problem whatsoever. The only negative remark I would have about the book is that they tend to use the same descriptive words over and over again. So if that had been fixed, I probably would have given it a slightly higher rating because I found it slightly annoying being a writer myself and spending time on thesauruses so that I don't repeat myself. So that's the only thing I think I would change. Otherwise, it is an amazing book, and I loved it just as much the second time. Next, I read Before I Die by Jenny Downham, which was my read a book that has been on your shelf forever. I also ate that up in one sitting with no problem. It was 327 pages. Really fast, really easy read, but I did not enjoy it. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars because the main character was just not relatable for me. She wasn't likable or relatable, so she really didn't have anything going for her in my opinion, and that just makes for a really boring book. In fact, there weren't really any characters in that book that I was really rooting for. There were characters that I tolerated, but there was just a lot of things that I could have done without that should have been. It was a great premise. Like, it could have been an amazing book had it been written correctly. But because I don't believe that it was, 2 out of 5 stars. Next, I read The Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare to complete 2 challenges. Reading a book over 500 pages because it is 568 pages long, and also completing a series or trilogy because it is the last book in the Infernal Devices trilogy. I was so excited to read this book. It was so hyped up. People told me it was amazing. People said that they cried, and I think if people hadn't said those things, I would have given it a 5 out of 5 stars. But because of that, I'm giving it a 4.5 out of 5 stars because I didn't really cry. In the epilogue, I shed a couple of tears, but that was it. And it was a slow start. It was over 200 pages into the book before I reached the gripping, can't put it down point. And while I liked where the story went, and in the end with the epilogue tied in, I actually like how the story connected and ended, and it made me more at peace with how the book ended before the epilogue. It just wasn't what I expected. So don't overhype books, guys. It's never a good idea. So like I said, yes, 4.5 out of 5 stars. Next, I read The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan, which did not complete any challenges because at this point I had completed all of the challenges when I got to reading this, other than the 300 pages a day. So this was just a book I'd been wanting to read. I was hesitant about reading the Percy Jackson series because it is about a 12-year-old, and being 24, I didn't really think I was going to enjoy something about such young people because I hadn't read anything like that since I was a young people like them. So I'm giving it a 5 out of 5 stars. It was amazing, and I cannot wait to read the next one. And usually when I see the movie first, I end up not enjoying the book, but I equally enjoyed the book. So yeah, it was an amazing book. It was intense all the way through, and it made me laugh out loud, which books don't often do. So 5 out of 5 for that. Next, I forgot to review my audiobook because I don't have a physical copy of it. My audiobook was The Legend of Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving, and I gave that a 4 out of 5 stars, I think. I'd read it before. I'd watched the movies on it before. I love The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. I really do. I'm just not a fan of audiobooks, so it'd be a 3 or 4 stars out of 5 simply because it was an audiobook and I find them boring. The next two books, the last book that I read for BookTube-A-Thon is on my Kindle, so I do not have a hard copy to show you, but that was the first book in the Bane Chronicles, What Really Happened in Peru by Cassandra Clare, and I gave that probably 4 out of 5 stars, simply because it was a fast read, and it was fun, and it made me laugh out loud too. And I love Magnus, because if you have read the Mortal Instrument series or the Infernal Devices trilogy, you know Magnus Bane pretty well, and he is a pretty likable character. He's hilarious. He's great. So, if you like Magnus Bane, go check out the Bane Chronicles. I've only read the first one, so I can't really tell you anything about the following ones. I believe there are 8, or that there will be 8 books in the entire series, but I've only read the first one for now. It's 133 pages, Goodreads says, but it was really fast. I read it in 2 sittings, late at night both times, exhausted, and it was just really easy to get through. So, I also picked back up Catching Fire, and I'm currently working on that. I'm about 30% of the way through that, and I'm loving it, and I just really want to get it finished because I want to watch the trailer, but I don't dare watch the trailer and have something spoiled for me. So that is currently what's going on. And then in other somewhat related news, I am doing the High Summer Readathon, and I also found on Twitter, just right before making this video, the BookTube-A-Thon Hangover hashtag on Twitter, where people are hanging out and doing more relaxed challenges, BookTube related, or BookTube-A-Thon related. So, between those two, the next week is going to be more crazy reading, but at a relaxed pace. I am not going to stress myself or push myself overly. My plan, honestly, is probably no more than 100 pages a day because I'm going to be busy this week, but we'll see. Yeah, that is everything. I am going to make an intro video pretty soon because I pretty much dove right into BookTube when BookTube-A-Thon started, and I never got to say hi or tell you who I am or about myself, so check out or keep an eye out for that. And I will be back soon with a book haul and a TBR for August. I will see you guys soon. Bye!